Don't do that. It will give you arthritis. Today is Mini Myth Monday here in Mikey's lab. If this is your first time joining us, go ahead and click that subscribe button down below to ensure that you get all the latest content on DIY, engineering, science, technology, and now the Mini Myth Mondays that we put out every single week. Today we're looking at the myth that my mom has told me forever, that cracking your knuckles will cause arthritis. Between 29 and 54% of human adults crack their knuckles, for various reasons. Some it's a nervous habit, some it relieves tension, or in my case, it causes the joint pain to go away. Not surprisingly, more men do it than women do. To find out if knuckle cracking is harmful, researchers have done several studies into whether or not it increases the risk of osteoarthritis. The research has concluded that regardless of frequency of cracking, duration of cracking, there is no impact or no elevated risk of developing osteoarthritis if you crack your knuckles. Sorry, Mom, that's just the way it is. So why do our knuckles crack? What happens when we put that pressure on and we hear that satisfying crack that does such a wonderful job of annoying everybody else around us? For the longest time, it was believed that the popping sound itself came from gas bubbles in the synovial fluid, the fluid in the joints of the fingers or whatever joint happens to be popping, escaping during the motion of that joint. Research has debunked this theory based on real-time observations of a joint cracking by collecting real-time footage from inside of an MRI. One study has concluded that joint cracking is a result of cavity formation, not the collapse of gas bubbles in the joint itself. The results showed the rapid creation of a cavity in the joint where it cracked, and that the cavity was visible long after the sound had been produced. This suggests that the cracking of the joint itself is enough to produce the sound on its own, and the cavitation as well. So great, if you crack your knuckles, you're not going to get arthritis. Now, this by no way means that there is no side effects whatsoever to cracking your knuckles. One study that looked at long-term knuckle crackers found that they generally have more inflamed joints and a weaker grip. So there are reasons to not crack your knuckles. Arthritis just isn't one of them. Bonus fact. One of the other possible causes of the sound is not the joint cracking at all. Some doctors propose that the cause of the sound is actually tendons slipping over the joint as they stretch. For those who are unaware, tendons are the connective tissue that attach your muscles to your bones, and ligaments are the connective tissue that attach bone to bone. So this theory purports that when these things move, sometimes they get caught up either on a group of muscle or on some protrusion on the bone, and what we hear is the snap is really that tendon or that ligament just snapping back into place after the motion is done. This is probably most likely what's happening in your hip bones and your toes and your ankles when you first stand up. So there you have it. Cracking your knuckles will not cause arthritis. I want to thank you for joining me in the lab today. If you haven't, go ahead and click that subscribe button down below to make sure that you stay up to date with all the news from the lab. Don't forget the little bell notification icon so you get notified every time as well. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you don't, tell me why in the description down below. Don't forget to like and share. Thank you for joining me in the lab, and I will see you next time.